the channel. So yeah, today is what is today? Wednesday the 22nd of May. Um, I traded today, and I'm sorry I didn't do a video for yesterday, but I'm going to go over yesterday and today. I, however, did not trade on Tuesday. I'll get into price action and unfortunately, I really wasn't at my computer. I was working, and we're going to go over both days. So if you're new to the channel, thank you for clicking. If you're not, thank you for sticking around. And yeah, this is my channel. This is me attempting to pass the Apex challenge. So just quick little spiel on me. I do this pretty much on every single video, but a little recap for the new people. I created this channel almost a year ago, right? And it was for completely selfish reasons, and it worked, right? So basically, I used you guys. I used you guys to make myself accountable to my trading, right? So I could stick to a rules-based system, and that's it, and not FOMO and not overtrade, and stick to the rules that fit my criteria, and also the back test, right? All the data that I've compiled. So the strategy is extremely simple, guys. I know that there's other ways of trading. I know that there's way more entries if I break it down to, for example, looking at the higher time frame, building my bias, bringing it down to the 1 minute chart, seeing if I could get on a market structure shift on a 1 minute, or maybe a total soup or whatever. But I wanted something that's extremely simple, right? Like I wanted something that I wanted to show that trading does not have to be difficult, and it was great. Last year, the strategy was phenomenal. We had a bunch of entries, and we had like a 63% win rate by the end of the year. It started to not fail, but it started to happen less towards the end of the year. I chalked it up to the holidays. Around that time, unfortunately, all the CFD firms took a shit, and I lost funding. Currently, this year, we're trading futures now. I am max allocated with Top Step, and we got a couple Apex challenges that we're gonna accomplish, right? And the first one that we're in is this one. So let's just get into the strategy, right? You're basically gonna grab price from 12 midnight to 8:30 a.m. and this is all New York Eastern Standard Time. Within that time frame, you're gonna mark out the highest point and the lowest point, right? Think about it as a higher time frame analysis. You're grabbing, time from a 4 hour block. I'm sorry, an 8 hour block, and you're marking out the highest point and the lowest point. Most of the time, that's going to be a higher time frame point of liquidity. At that point in time, you're going to wait for there to be a market structure shift. I'm sorry, you're going to wait for liquidity to be grabbed, and then a market structure shift. So on the chart, it basically looks like this. This is 12. So price is going to do whatever it wants to do, right? Let's say you have a nice little downtrend. Bam, 8:30 comes. Here you have price. You're going to mark out your high, right? You're going to mark out your low. So all we're going to wait for is for either the high or the low to be taken out. Let's say you have something that looks like this. The lows get taken out, and then you have a market structure shift. Something towards this effect. Right? Now, I make it extremely simple and easy enough where anybody can do this. But you can use your own analysis. Maybe over here there is a higher time frame PD array that this taps into that can give you an extra added confluence towards, oh shit, this is a good setup, right? Maybe it hits I don't know, an hourly, a 4 hour for value gap, or a previous day higher low. Like all those things, just keep in mind when you're trading this strategy, right? So at this point, we're going to be looking for a buy. For us to get in on the buy, you're going to have to take price from top to bottom with your fib. Oh, sorry, wrong tool. With your fib, and we're going to get in at the OTA, right? We're going to get in at the 61.8 or the 0.59, and you are going to target 2 times risk. And that's it. Now, my back test is blow or go. It's freaking stop loss or take profit. So, unfortunately, with some of these prop firms, right, you have to learn to take profit because they have a trailing drawdown that is not end of day. It's a floating trailing drawdown. So if you're in profit, and let's just say in this scenario, your trade was off. Let's say you lost the trade. Let's say that you got an entry, price came up, almost hit your TP, right? And then decided to come down, and because you're sticking to your rules, you don't move your stop loss and you take the loss. Well, let's say you're risking $1,000 to make $2,000. This right here is almost $2,000. So you would have lost whatever this was. Let's say it's $1,800 plus an extra $1,000. So you lost $2,800 on your drawdown with these future prop firms, especially Apex. So I have learned to take profit quickly and along the way. And unfortunately, sometimes it does work in my favor and sometimes it doesn't, right? But it is what it is. Let's get into Tuesday's price action. We'll go over what happened. I didn't trade, but let's just talk about it, right? So here you have the high. Here you have the low. So we're waiting for one of the sides to get swept. Looks like the low got swept, right? So we're waiting for a market structure shift. Okay. At this point in time, I would want to see this get swept, right? A candle closure above, and then a pullback, and then bam, to your TP. Like that's how the strategy is supposed to be, right? Sometimes if now it's this one, right? Because we created a new higher low. We took out this liquidity. We created a new higher low. Now you want this for there to be a market structure shift or a break of structure, right? You want a candle closure above this. Display price forward. And we don't get it. Now, wow. This is almost identical as the other day. I wonder if there was a break of structure on ES. Anyways, let's not complicate things. So there's no entry. Technically, like that, this setup would be awesome if we would have broken up here, but there's no entry. However, if you drop down to the 1 minute, you're gonna notice that there was a market structure shift here, right? And you could have pulled out your fib, and the strategy does work also on the 1 minute, but it also fails more. You have more entries, right? But there's also more losses. When I first started the channel, I was trading the 1 minute chart. I was taking 2 entries a day, and then I started looking at the 5 minute chart, and then I dropped it down to 1 entry a day. But it does play out, right? And that would have been full TP. Almost. We eventually got full TP. So this is not the actual strategy, so it will not go into my numbers. At this point in time, you would want to see a pullback happen since we still have all the liquidity resting above, right, to the 61.8, but I do not believe we get it. Almost the 50 mark, and even if you go off of this low, you still don't get it. So price just continues to go up, and now we are at the highs. So at that point, if we sweep the highs, we're looking for a sell. Okay, look, so let me just clear this chart up a little bit and we'll get into what happened. We actually swept London's high with which candle? With this candle here, right? Now, looking at this, price rejected off of, where's my tools? This fair value gap, right? Even though we did have a close below this low, right? We had a solid rejection off of this fair value gap. So overall, we still had all these pending highs to be taken out. Even if I was going to trade this day, I probably would have opted out of taking this trade, or I would have been extremely cautious. I would have been extremely cautious. I probably would have waited for a 1 minute confirmation. And if we take a look at, let's just say you did mark this up and you wanted to get it to 61.8, you drop down to 1 minute. Do you actually get a 1 minute confirmation? Or is it 61.8? Not really. I would want to see like an engulfing candle or something. And you don't get it. So honestly, I'm pretty glad I didn't trade this day. It just works out in my favor. But I will, however, mark this up as a loss on my sheet because I'm trying to make it as rules based as possible, and this does technically meet the rules. Right? Let's play price a little forward more and see if anything else. No, nothing else. So the grand broke down. Oh yeah, this is what the high, nothing. Yeah, price was just bullish the entire day. All right, cool. So that's pretty much it for that day. So let's go into today. Let's jump to the hour. Let me just play a few candles forward. What time is that? That's 3. Price is coming down. That's 5. That's 6. We'll leave it there at 7. So overall, price is extremely bullish. Yeah. So let's just get into today's markup. Let's see. We're gonna mark out the high. We're gonna mark out the low. And we're gonna wait for the same thing. A sweep of liquidity. Let's see. Okay, we took out the high. Cool. So now we're looking for a sell, right? We want a candle closure below this low, right? Why that low? Well, this is the low that created the high that took out this liquidity, right? Or this liquidity. So that's the low that we would want to have a close below for there to be a market structure shift. It's simple, right? Let's play price forward. Now, which low is it? Well, it's this low, right? Because this is the low that created the high that took out that liquidity. And then we play price forward. We have a new high, low. There's no real low there, so I'm gonna keep it where it's at and see if we get another high. Don't get another high. Now we do. Bam. We got, what is that? Oh, equal lows. So now we're looking for price to close below, pull back, and slam to our TP, right? Do we get it? Do we get it? Do we get it? Not yet. There you go. Official close below. Take your fib. Top to bottom. Right? And we're going to enter in the 61.8 short. I'm going to enter at the 0.59 because I do not want to miss out on the trade. And we're going to target 2 times risk. That's it. Extremely simple. Today's price action was extremely choppy, but I still took the trade. Tagged in, full freaking TV, right? And you can even targeted London's low or whatever low this was, 630's low. And yeah, that was pretty much the trade. So now we're currently sitting at almost one trade away from passing. Um, I took partials on this trade just because we were getting close to FOMC, right? We had news at 2 o'clock, and I was a little worried, so I took profit early on half of my position. So right now the account is sitting at 17,893 positive. So $317,893 is where the account's at right now. All I need is one trade with a extra little sauce on top, and we pass this freaking thing, right? And it's great. You know, it's great to be here again with you guys. It's great to sit here and honestly prove to myself, right? Like I say these things over and over again, and it's honestly just me trying to reassure myself that I'm not crazy and that I could do this, right? I don't claim to be some freaking guru or any of this shit, right? Trading is about making money, right? Trading is about probabilities and making money. There, any strategy can make money, right? You can have a moving average crossover mixed with, I don't know, VWAP or whatever you want to use, and you can make money, right? Or you can use support and resistance and make money. The funny thing about the whole ICT waiting for liquidity, right? And then a market structure shift, and then for there to be a pullback, it's a break and a retest. Like, obviously, we want to look at a higher time frame analysis or PDRA where we see a fair value gap and we're in a bearish market and we're coming up to that fair value gap, and then if it happens there, then it's like, okay, cool, I know that it's the trade might be more in my favor. But it's basically a market structure shift, right? And then entering in on OTEs is typically a break and a retest. And so all these strategies, they work, right? Anything works. It's whatever works for you, right? And it's just, you just got to do the job of putting the numbers down on paper and figuring out a rules based system, right? That you can say, like, okay, I'm going to take this, right? Like, I'm going to take this trade. You could trade the minute. Today would have been fucking shitty day to trade the minute because of all this chop, but you could trade the minute chart. You could sit there and say, okay, I'm gonna go in on a 15-minute fair value. I'm gonna look at structure on 15 minutes, right? I'm gonna target a fair value gap during my session, whatever it was, London, New York, um, and I'm gonna go in on a market structure shift or a break of structure or whatever it is, or SMT with on the minute chart, right? Like all that stuff works, right? Like I don't want to um, sound like a guy that like this is the holy grail. It's not. This shit loses, right? It just wins more than it does, right? And when you're consistent with it, it makes money. It can make you profitable. It makes you money, hand over fist. To be completely honest, um, right now I think the stats are somewhere around between 33,000 to, with today's win, I think we're back up to like 35,000 or some shit, right? Like it is that's $35,000 trading 1% on a 100K account. So if you had, because I did this for FTMO, right? My whole thing was, okay, I'm gonna buy $100,000 FTMO challenge and prove to myself that I could pass it, both phases, which I did. I was max allocated by the end of it. So it was risking $1,000 for $2,000 worth of profit. Last year, the strategy made $170,000, which was phenomenal. At this point last year, the strategy was already up to like 80,000. Right? This year's a lot slower. But with these future prop firms, you do have the possibility. Oh, sorry guys, that's my little baby boy. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see how. Can you see that, guys? That's him. He's freaking big. He just started walking. It's amazing. I love that kid. Um, anyways, so yeah. Where was I going with this? Oh, okay, the stats. So yeah, okay, we're making less money than last year. It's gonna be not every year is the same. The market's not always the same. You have to adjust, right? And I have taken some discretionary trades. However, sticking to the strategy and doing this challenge on that account has shown me that trading is this simple. It really is. If you have a rules based system that you can prove by backtesting that is profitable, then fuck it, go forward and do it, right? And I've been able to do that, and I've been able to do that for the last year with you guys here. Now we're going into a year and a half, and before that, I had already compiled a year worth of data. So just trust your system, guys. Do the work, do the back testing or forward testing, whatever you want to do, and do the work, and yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's all I gotta say today. So we are officially just one trade away, right? One trade away. We're gonna get that fucking 300K, and then I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So my whole idea for FTMO was I wanted to pass these things, and I was gonna drop down from 1% risk to a 1/4% risk. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do the same thing here because I'm treating these 300Ks like if they're 100K, and I'm treating the $20,000 worth of profit as if it was two phases, right? As far as trading with an FTMO, and that's my whole thing. And now I have to build up $7,000 worth of money for the cushion, or 7,600, and then I can start withdrawing money after that. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna drop it down. I'm not in a rush, right? My cousin told me the funniest thing was he's like, dude, stop. What did he say? He said something towards the lines of, you know, you're causing yourself to slow down by speeding up, right? Stop rushing the process. When you rush the process, it'll take you longer to get there. He's like, trust me, and he's absolutely right. He's fucking absolutely right. If you rush the process, it will take you longer to get there. And the funny thing is, I was the guy that always rushed the process. I was the guy that was always trying to find the easy way out. Let me just trade this guy's signals because, you know, he must know more than me. Or let me just trust some random guy from India on what's it called? On either Discord or something else, trading account, or let me do this software because of course the AI is smarter than me and it can trade. And no, absolutely not. It's the worst thing that I ever did, and it slowed down my growth as a trader. It really did. And now we're back to the same scenario. I know what I need to do, and with you guys and your guys' help, I'm gonna do it. We're gonna accomplish it together. Anyways, I'm done. You guys have a great night. It is almost 10 o'clock here, and I am going to have a nightcap. So have a good night, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.